Everyone. This is Dr. Pooja Sharma from Team Pacer with an interesting conversation today. Most important part of a clinical trial for any patient is consent. So today we are going to talk about consent. It's important to know that you cannot be made to participate in any research without your consent. Consent can be given also at different phases and stages of the study. Consent is not just saying yes and no. There is a very important part before it called informed consent. Informed means the process in which you are given all the important information. Any questions that you have asked are answered about the clinical trial before you decide to join. So what are the steps in an informed consent process? So the first step is that when you reach the hospital and you ask the research coordinator or the principal investigator, that is the doctor, that or they ask you, would you like to participate? The first thing that they give you is information about the study. That is called a study information sheet. This will give you what is the study's purpose, why they have selected you, what are the procedures that will be done, what is the risk, what is the benefit, what is the who to approach. All those information will be there in case you want to have, if you can't understand any of them, right? Sometimes the language is difficult to understand, sometimes you don't understand what is written, feel free to ask. So the second part of the information confirmed consent is discussion. They can answer any questions that you may have. Don't think this is a foolish question. This is a small question. This is a big doctor. Does not matter. It is your life. Please be very careful when you participate in a research trial to ensure that you ask all the questions that are in your head. Ask questions that your wife may be thinking. Ask questions that your husband is thinking, your son is thinking. Ask those questions. So any family members have questions, ask those questions. Take some time to consider this participation without pressure. Do not use this time to phone somebody and somebody and somebody. No, do not do that. Use this decision making, which is involve only those people in this decision making who are really your well-wishers, who are going to participate, who are involved and concerned about your health. After you have done this knowledge, understanding, asked any questions, taken time for your decision, then if you agree, then you sign the consent form. In consent, you would say yes. When all do you have to say yes in participating in a clinical trial? So one is before participating in the clinical trial. So you have to, before participation, they have to take permission. If there are a new information, so sometimes the drug becomes so effective that they have to tell you. Sometimes drug is not effective, they have to tell you. If they have changed the study, they should tell you. Any risk that is happening, any side effect that they are seeing in other patients, they should tell you. If you participated in the study when you were less than 18 years of age, and at that time they did not take consent but took consent of your family members or your parents or the legal representatives, when you turned 18, they must come back to you and take consent. Similarly, if you were unconscious at the time and somebody else has given consent on your behalf, when you became conscious, they should come back and ask you for consent. So you must sign a consent form before the study. This confirms that you are going to be part of the study. Remember, if there is new information, you can be asked to continue the study. If new information may be better, so it may be better, the drug is doing better than what I expected. Sometimes it is worse, so it can be either. If there is a change in the study plan, that means earlier they were doing blood tests at some time, now they want to do more frequent blood tests or lesser blood tests, or they want you to come in a little later, or they want to extend the study duration, they have to tell you. The research coordinators and the investigators have to again take consent. If a new risk or side effect is found, you can stop the studies. That is why they ask you again. Some people are getting side effects which we did not share with you. So now these are new side effects that we have found out, and we would like to let you know that more people there have managed to get a fever because of the drug. Would you like to continue participation? They have to again inform you. So be vigilant that these points have to be there. You can also ask, the doctor or the research coordinator how the study is going at other sites. If a child turns 18, we spoke about this. If you join the study as a child, now you are an adult, you can choose after 18 to participate or not, or continue participation or not. Now, informed consents has certain types, right? So, written consent is for most clinical trials, there will be a written consent. Verbal consent sometimes is for simpler studies or for studies where written consent is not possible, then verbal consent is recorded. Sometimes audio video recording of consent is also done. Be very careful when audio video recording is being done, right? So there is a whole process for that. Ask your doctor, will you be recording the consent? Reconsenting means if new information is there or the study changes significantly, the doctor may ask you for a reconsent. Sometimes if you are not able to give consent, that means you are unconscious or you are young in age or you are of a mental condition where you cannot give consent, a designated person who is a legally authorized representative can do on your behalf. This can be in our Indian setting. This is ideally either it will be the spouse or it will be the son or daughter, but you have to be very clear to understand in case there is a person who the participant has identified as his legally authorized representative, then that is the person who must sign the consent here. If you wake up after being unconscious and you have then you were somebody else has given us your legally authorized representative have given consent, now you can choose to continue to participate or not. Now you are conscious, so now decision is yours. The team will explain things to you again and you can choose to stay or leave the study. Again, we have spoken about this earlier. It's very important. The consent is a conversation process. It's not one-sided process. The doctor told me, I signed here. No. You have full responsibility and rights to ask questions. So what all can you ask? And you can ask more questions than these, but these are questions that we suggest you ask. Why am I being asked to join the study? What is this study about? What will happen to me if I join? Will I get a real medicine or a placebo? Are there any side effects or risks? Will I get better because of this study? Do I have to pay for anything? Who covers my standard of care? Will I get help with travel, food or money or some kind of a reimbursement? Can I stop at any time if I don't want to continue? If I stop, what happens? Who will treat me if I fall sick? Who should I call as the first person? Will the person pick up the phone at night? Will my health details stay private? Can I talk to my family before I decide? Who can I call if I have questions later? Where will the study be done? How long will the study go on? In case the study says 1 year and then there's an extension at the end, you must ask how long will the study go on. You must definitely ask. If you remember, we have spoken about this in a longer term access of care, whether beyond post trial access of care will be available. So if the study finishes, will you still continue to get the medicine which is effective for you? Will I get a copy of the consent form? What if something bad happens to me? Who will take care? Right? How will I come to know the final results of the study? Of course, has this study been approved by any government authority or institutional ethics committee? These questions ensure that you understand what is going to happen in the trial. Also, it helps the researchers understand that you understand the clinical trial process, which is a very important part of what PACER is trying to do. In case you have any more questions, please inform the PACER team. Please feel free to contact them.